With the completion of Star Trek Discovery Season 2, fans have been chomping at the bit to get CBS to commission a new Star Trek series based around Anson Mount's version of the classic character Captain Christopher Pike. But what about the first Captain Pike? What was his story? Sadly, it was a tragic one. Hello and welcome to Truth or Myth, a Star Trek web series that looks at the truth, or canon, of Star Trek to dispel the myths surrounding it. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the life of Jeffrey Hunter, the original Captain Christopher Pike, and the character that he brought to life for us all. Sometimes when I'm figuring out a topic for these videos, I'll stare blankly at my computer screen, not knowing what to do. Sometimes this will last for hours. Sure, I have a huge list of episode possibilities that I always glance at, but I have to feel the story to tell it. So on the day I'm writing this, I was staring at my screens once again, lost in thought, while having the YouTube homepage up and running. There I noticed something odd. A large number of videos on the page were about Captain Christopher Pike. So I thought to myself, hey, what about the original actor Jeffrey Hunter? What was his life like? And whatever happened to him? So I began scouring the internet, and what I found shocked me. All these years, and I didn't know the tragic fate that had befallen him. Jeffrey Hunter, whose real name was Henry Herman McInnes, was born on November 25th, 1926. Born to Edith Louise and Henry McInnes Sr., he would have a very traditional Irish Catholic upbringing in his home birth city of New Orleans, Louisiana. In the year 1930, his family would move to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where he would grow up, attending high school and graduate from Whitefish Bay High School. He loved sports and in his early teenage years would begin acting in local theater plays as well as acting on the new medium known as radio. From 1942 to 1945, he toured with the Northport Players, a theater company from New York. When he graduated from high school at the age of 19, the young and talented Jeffrey made up his mind and joined the United States Navy. He was assigned to the Naval Communications Division. And although ready and willing, Jeffrey would not see any combat duty as he suffered a broken arch bone that prevented it in a high school football accident. Jeffrey was discharged from the Navy in May of 1946 and decided to attend Northwestern University and major in speech and radio. His minors there were English and psychology. His first film role would come to him in 1949 when he was cast in the movie Julius Caesar, a movie which starred a very young Charlton Heston as Mark Antony. Graduating on August 26, 1949, Jeffrey would pick himself up and move to Los Angeles, California to pursue a master's degree at the University of California in radio. And in 1950, talent scouts attending the university's production of All My Sons spotted the young Jeffrey, and screen tests were set up with him by 20th Century Fox and Paramount Pictures. After a bit of battling between the two networks, Fox won out and Jeffrey signed a long-term contract with the studio. And this is when he would change his name at the studio's request, and Jeffrey Hunter the Star was born. At Fox, he would star in many pictures such as Lure of the Wilderness in 1952 and Sailor of the King in 1953. And as was the studio's policy at the time, Fox would loan out Jeffrey to other studios, and as such, Jeffrey's name was becoming a household name. In 1957, Jeffrey was supposed to star in a movie for Universal called Appointment with a Shadow, but was replaced after he collapsed on a return trip from Europe. He was diagnosed with hepatitis and as a result was off-screen for 14 months recovering. From then on, he would star in other movies such as The King of Kings, where he would play Jesus Christ himself. Guest starring on television shows since his career had began, Hunter was offered a contract with Warner Brothers, where he would play a Texas lawyer on the NBC series Temple Houston. And he accepted the contract and played the role from 1963 to 1964. And now we come to Star Trek. In 1964, Hunter accepted the role of Captain Christopher Pike in the first pilot created for the show Star Trek. A true science fiction think piece, Jeffrey Hunter would fit right into the role and truly make it his own. After it was decided that Star Trek would receive a second pilot, he was again offered the role of the good captain, but turned it down, citing, "I would have been tied up for far longer than I cared to be." The truth, however, is a bit more sketchy. As told by William Shatner in his Star Trek Memories book, Jeffrey Hunter's wife, model Dusty Bartlett, would frequently storm into Gene Roddenberry's office making outrageous demands like, "My Jeffrey can only be shot from a certain angle from now on." And as a result of all the tantrums and demands, Gene decided he could not do an entire series with Jeffrey Hunter with a situation like that, and so he let him go. Other sources also place the blame on his wife. Herbert Solow has maintained that after screening the first pilot for Hunter's wife, she turned to him and said Jeffrey would not be returning for the second pilot as he was a movie star and did not do television. Whatever the case, it's pretty clear that his wife's meddling was what prevented him from doing Star Trek again. Jeffrey Hunter would continue to do movies and films up until 1969, and these roles would receive mixed reviews. In November of 1968, Hunter sustained an injury on the set of Cry Chicago, when a window of a car near him that was rigged to explode outwards accidentally exploded inwards, and as a result, Jeffrey sustained a serious concussion. On the plane ride back to the States, Jeffrey went into shock and could not speak and was hardly able to move at all. After landing, he was taken to Good Samaritan Hospital in Los Angeles, but doctors there could not find anything seriously wrong with him aside from the aforementioned concussion and a displaced vertebra. Then, on the afternoon of May 26, 1969, Jeffrey suffered an intracranial hemorrhage while on the steps of his home. He was found unconscious by his wife and rushed to Valley Presbyterian Hospital, where he underwent brain surgery in an attempt to fix the problem. Unfortunately, they were unsuccessful, and Jeffrey Hunter died at 9:30 a.m. the next morning. He was 42 years of age. His funeral was held at St. Mark's Episcopal Church on May the 31st, and he was buried at Glen Haven Memorial Park. He is survived by his 4 children, Christopher, Steely, Todd, and Scott. It's quite a sad turn of events for such an amazing actor. Now, I love William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk, and wouldn't want to give him up for anything. But if Jeffrey Hunter had continued in the role of Captain Christopher Pike, I think he would have made just as big a mark on fandom as Shatner has. I mean, consider it. The original pilot was chopped into a 2-part episode entitled The Menagerie, and we, the fan base, have always known who he was, and what he meant to Star Trek. Since then, there have been 2 versions played of the character on screen. Both were excellent, and both brought something different and new to Star Trek. But I guess my point is that they were different. The ease and charm in which Hunter's Pike is played is an instant crowd pleaser. Those eyes are deep and filled with emotion. You feel this is a caring captain that's truly struggling with the recent events and the losses he suffered, while at the same time being strong enough to escape the clutches of his captors, the Telosians.
Well, now you're tired and
You bet I'm tired. You bet. I'm tired of being responsible for 203 lives, and I'm tired of deciding which mission is too risky and which isn't, and who's going on the landing party and who doesn't.
As I said, it's sad and unfortunate that we didn't get to see more of him in the role. But at least one good thing came out of it all, and that's that Jeffrey Hunter will always be remembered as a living legend by the Star Trek community, and as the first on-screen captain of the Starship Enterprise. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth. I know this was a sad one, but I hope you still liked it. Have something you'd like to add to the conversation? Well, leave a comment in the section below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video re-release. Want to help the channel out? Well, become a channel patron. The link to our Patreon account is in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Live long and prosper.
This is the captain. Our destination is the Talos Star Group. Captain Christopher Pike, United Spaceship Enterprise. Can you hear me? My name is Christopher Pike, commander of the space vehicle Enterprise from the Stellar Group at the other end of this galaxy. I was in a cage, a cell, in some kind of a zoo. Must still be there. Yes, you can. How far can I control my mind? Assuming that's a lie, why would you want me attracted to it? We're in a menagerie, a cage.
No.
Is your blood red like ours? And that's it. No apologies. You captured one of us, threatened all of us. But wouldn't some form of trade, mutual cooperation, you'll give her back her illusion of beauty?
And more.
What's happened to Vina? Isn't she coming with us?
No. No, and I agreed with her reasons. Engage!